in my mind, you guys, just... That's what's going on in my mind. That's okay. That's okay. I thought it was in my mind, the first of the year started February 1st. I unconsciously do things. I'll project, and I won't know it till I get closer to the door, like on a timeline. And then when I'm going through the door, I know it. So, in other words, I don't speak it. Am I way too loud for you guys? Okay. So when the transition happened with Darren, and then we were ending the lease, subconsciously I knew like 2 years. I knew what to do to a degree. I didn't fully know what to talk on, but there was a level of a path set out. I knew I would be going through a door, and boy, did we, right? You guys obviously came with me. God love you. Look at someone and say, bless your heart if you're going with her. Okay, just kidding. So what I did with this was also a year. I connected it subconsciously when I met Breck, but there was a new thing that was happening in general in my life. And I took time. Since last February, I met him like was full on from the first time that I went there. I had already felt like I heard God. First time we sat and had dinner in Dallas and talked through the night. That was it for me. That was it. And it was a new thing. I wasn't looking towards it. I didn't see it coming in this part of me, but I knew it here. I wasn't looking for it, but I was in a fasted state. I was creating space because we were ending the time. I knew we were going through a door as far as what I was finishing out. So that's not even on a personal level. It wasn't on a romantic, personal, and I never thought I would get remarried, anything like that. That's not how I live, you guys. I remember somebody asking me when we were going to build a church, buy a church, whatever, way back when. And they said, oh, I hope that you do it out in Tomball, and they told me how they live out there, and their kids are out there, or they wanted to move out there. And I'm like, I don't know if you understand how we think. Like, we moved to Houston because we heard it. We put our daughter in Cyprus because we heard that area. We didn't know there'd be 8 schools there. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, can we refine this hearing? The goal has been in my life not to get my personal desire. If anything, I try to weigh that out. Not that personal desire is bad, but I want that pure, where I know I'm responding to that one voice. Yeah. And I have voices. I have preferences. I mean, would any of us want this humidity if we live by our preferences, right? So we have preference. Is that the right word? But in it, when you're in a fasted state or when you're making room in your life, you set those aside anyway. Does that make sense? So I knew I was going through a door February 1st because I had subconsciously, or in my spirit, if you will, set that timeline. So February 2nd that's the reason I started the Eye of the Storm. If you don't know what that is, it's the Eye of the Storm. It's weekdays, every morning. It'll be like 15 minutes, maybe up to 30, but I'm doing like encouragements, meditations, just reminders. It's a video. Sometimes we'll Zoom every once in a while. But I did that for the first 3 months of this year, but I started February 2nd. Because it felt like that there would be a shift with us, a door, if you will, and for sure a door that I was going through. So if you want to sign up for that, you can. All the recordings are there. I was in Miami this week taking care of a friend that was getting some medical stuff done. And I did the first, I think, 6 or 7. The 7th one, I'm in the car on the way because Alex is having a baby. Alex had the baby. So... and that's all that is. But my thinking was the eye of the storm being this year and what's happening all around us. There's constructs coming down. And it is a good thing. And it offends our mind when we hear it's a good thing often because when constructs go down, you guys know what happened to the temple, the Jewish temple. You can read all about it. It's an awful story. It talks about it in the book of Revelation with the blood up to the horse's brow. Because people, when the temple was coming down and the old was being destroyed, the people ran to the temple. And the people held on to the construct. And the people went down with the construct. Thus the suffering. Do you hear me? Yeah. So in the midst of living in a day that you live in, when constructs are coming down, okay, to the degree I'll say me, to the degree I am attached to those constructs will be the degree of suffering during this time. And we will see people suffer. They think they're losing it all because they invested all of it in that construct. And we are discovering, and I'm here to tell you, oh my gosh, it's freaking me out. And I've been on this road. I've been trying to keep my nervous system in a place. I've been trying to be very active in it, but nothing is as it seems. I'm telling you, nothing. You thought that your identity was being shaken so far. Okay? The things that we've been taught. And I'm not here to teach you, like reteach scripture, any of that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the reality that we live in. Once you begin to experience beyond this reality, you begin to see the constructs and the people that are pulling the strings, you know what I'm saying? We, mankind, if we are consciousness, we are beings, we are light beings. We're never meant to be ruled over by another being. Whether it be what we thought was God or an angel or other humans or whatever, okay? And I touched on this before I left. Even the word Lord came like in the 14th century. I know it's all through scriptures. I'll probably re-say Lord. I'm not against that word. But the connotation or the exact meaning of the word was to master over, which isn't what you do over your children. Is that correct? What you do over your children is you raise them up to be beside you. We used to say we raise up a generation to lead us. You literally, with the heart of love, you raise up children to go beyond you. There's no competition. It's your advancement when they advance. That's the nature of love. Where do we get that? From God. That's the nature of God. The nature of God. We're going to talk about the nature of you, the dimensional you, and the nature of God. Two of the things that we know, and these are just English words, are light and love. I really, truly, I'll probably be on my deathbed if this body dies, and I'll be saying it out my mouth, and some people have still not heard me, that I have one agenda, and it's for you to know fully yourself. Because when you fully know yourself, you will fully know God. I am not saying that you are God separate from God. I am saying that you are the exact image. I am saying that we are multidimensional people, and we've only known ourselves in one or two dimensions. So let's talk about dimensions, okay? We know that we're metaphysical. I can't see your soul. I can see the expression of it, right? We agree with that? I can't see your spirit, your breath, the wind, all these words for spirit, the energy, the consciousness, however you want to say it. People cut words up. But I can see the form, I can see the expression of it. God is spirit. God is what we would now maybe say energy, breath. They were trying to describe in these written words what God is. They're all just descriptions. Literally, God, the creator of all, is indescribable, especially outside of what you can experience. Are y'all with me? And this is something I said on in the eye of the storm. It doesn't matter what we say we believe. I am experiencing truly what I do believe. I can say that God is all loving, God is all healing, God is all this, but if I'm not experiencing that, then those are just words. Now, it's okay that I'm saying it, because oftentimes I say a word that I'm walking towards. Do you know what I mean? It's a door. Okay, but you are experiencing your own belief system. And we've connected to, we've heard these terms, collective consciousness, collective agreement. There's agreements, there's contracts. I want to talk about marriage, because when I think of a contract, I think of a covenant, I think of marriage. Is that too loud? There we go. Thank you. I love it. Can you still hear me? There's things that we begin to experience and we marry it. We get in a contract with it. We get in a contract with it. I remember my pastor's wife years ago, and she had a beautiful home, and they were moving or something, and she said, Sheila, this is when she's coaching me. I was in my 20s, she said, never marry a home. And, it was and I was like, I really thought just in a small space, I really thought that I'd have a place where my kids would always come back to. You remember, like 13 going on 30, and she went back to her childhood home. And, you have this idea of what life's going to be, and I've probably lived in 20 homes. And the whole thing that she was saying, though, don't marry a construct because it's temporary anyway. Okay? So when I say a construct, it's a belief system that attaches us to it. So if I dropped you off right now with a parachute, and you're screaming all the way down, into Vietnam, unless you've been there and you've lived there, you would be in a whole different space. You would have to acclimate to it, right? You would understand the drastic change. You would be at a place of just imagine the space that you would be in, like this bewildered, it's a whole new space, okay? That's what it feels like to release the marriage contracts. So next week when we have Wendy, we will do some activation type things, some healing. We're going to really begin to move into it. So let's talk about this. Light and love. I got into the Aramaic because I said, God, Spirit, how do I help people cross over? I knew what I was seeing and I was hearing. I knew when Darren came to Alex a year after he transitioned and said nothing as it seems, I knew what he meant. In depth, I knew what he meant because I knew what he gave his whole life study to. The man at the end was 8 hours a day in meditations and studying, and it was up until the very end, it was all within the scriptures. He would have just loved. That's why I love Dale Allen, because the way he dove into the Aramaic is the way Darren studied scriptures, okay? Giving his life to one thing. That's why I had him here, and I will have him here again to help people cross over, because the things that we thought we understood aren't even that anyway. We're holding on to false ideas anyway. And I'm not trying to take anything out of anybody's hand. We get to experience whatever we want. We get to hold on to whatever we want. But understand that what you are experiencing is your own belief system. So if it's still sickness and death and cycles and confusion, it's coming out of your belief system. I'm not here to point and blame. That's not the thing. I'm here to empower you and to tell you that you can dissolve that belief system and know something altogether different. But it is in this vulnerable place, and I know you guys have all been here because you're still here tracking with me, right? So when I look at the nature of who the Creator is the nature of you. It's light and love. So in the Aramaic, the word love is hube. They're trying to describe, we said love, but it meant fire. It's a fire that you kindle and then you breathe on. You keep it going. You tend to it. We do bonfires outside, and there's always someone that goes and gets the wood and keeps the fire going. So when it says God is love, it's a consuming fire. It's a description. That's all it is. Okay? I'm saying that to your mind because we thought that so-and-so loved us, and then they broke our heart. We thought this was love. We thought it was love in our families growing up, and we're like, well, what the heck is love? Well, they were describing fire. Fire, the nature of you, the nature of who God is, fire burns everything that it's not. It's never been about punishment because you are God. You are of the substance of God. You are the fire. But what you thought you were not, what you were not and you thought, that's a good one. What you were not and you thought is what gets burned up when you yield to love. They described it as the fires of hell. Okay? So the quicker we let things go, the quicker we understand we are of the nature of God. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You're experiencing love, but they described it as fire. Hube. A fire that's kindled. You are a fire that's kindled and breathed upon. Purifying. Like what else? Give me another word that when you think of fire, what do you think of? Purifying, she said. Refining. Is that what you said? Consuming. That's it. Alchemist. So all of these words describe alchemy. An alchemist. So when alchemists, and it's all through history, like even before the Bible, like way before the Bible, these alchemists, they thought that they were like wizards and things like this, but they were talking about turning normal, common metals into gold. And they would fight over it, and there'd be secrets on it, and there's elixirs and all these different things that are going on, okay? But ultimately, alchemy is what we're explaining, the fire of the creator that burns up everything that it's not, ultimately. It was never about punishment. These were men that were trying to describe something. It's really exciting because in the yielding, there's nothing to fear. We called it love. But when you fall in love with God and then all hell breaks loose in your life, we don't know what it means. You know what I mean? In our English language. It means fire. It means what you never were from the beginning is what's being burned up. The belief systems are what have kept us in the loops and in bondage and in darkness. You know the scripture that said that men loved darkness? When the light came, the light is the word nurah in Aramaic. It says the light came into the world, talking about Jesus, Yeshua, that men loved darkness. That means that men, they made everything about morality in order to keep us in shame and keep us paying for the bills. Okay? But it's bigger than immorality. It was about ignorance. Men love ignorance. There's parts of me that loves ignorance. It's that red pill and the blue pill. Which one you want to take? How many of you which pill is the one that makes you see? You guys, the red? How many of you took the red pill and you started choking on it? Like, dear God, I don't know if I want to see anymore. Right? There's a part of us because we've been married to this form, married to a reality, in covenant, in contract to what we thought was real, that we begin to choke on the red pill. Choke on it. That's the name of this. Don't choke on the red pill. So it's not about, think of how evil that sounds. Like men love darkness because the days were evil. Men love these things. And we're like, oh, we got to be good. We got to be good. We can't love that stuff. No, it was men loved ignorance. And I get it. I get it. The whole thing is, do you want to know? It's okay. I mean, and here's the thing. Are you ready to know? I'm saying that in a tender way. I wouldn't look at Joni and be like, you want to know how the world goes around? She's not ready to know. It's maturing. We're here. We literally chose to be here to evolve in the nature of God, which is light and love. There's an expansion of fire and light within you. Within you, because you're asking for it, because you're yielding for it, that's what's pushing up and out these issues. The issues are just there for you to see that they never were you. I used to say it like this to my kids, and I know it's gross, but you usually taste vomit before you puke. And if you love it, you can keep swallowing it and keep it in, but you're going to stay sick. That's simple. That'll get you. So, if I'm here to fully incarnate, that word incarnate is to fully become. All I heard Spirit say is fully become who you are. I was like, well, I thought I was fully who I am. And I hear the heaven's laughter. Ha, 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 ha. Just kidding. She needs some red pills, right? So let's look at this really fast. So we hear, there's these different terms. That's you. Joni goes, why are you drawing like that? Okay, and this is you. We'll say, aren't you so glad that I can draw? Okay, so let's just say that's your spirit you, your higher self, your pure consciousness, however you want to say it, okay? Pure energy, the part of you that's in full union already. You're already completely one with God. You're already in oneness. It's the law of one. There is nothing else. I kind of heard recently that maybe Sheila doesn't believe in God. I can tell you right now that's all there is. That's all there is the creator, and within the creator, all these experiences, and there's these beings interacting and expressing and growing, okay? But we're going to use what did you guys think all-inclusive meant? We're going to use scientific terms. When minds like Trista start getting some of the nuts and bolts, because some things are very scientific. Within your cells, if you are 0.00001% that we can see, okay, literally within your cells is spirit or energy or breath. Literally. Okay? There's memory within your being. This physical being has a memory of God. And what we're going to do in the activations is we're going to learn how to tap into that memory. That's the red pill. It's not outside of you. No one's going to give you truth outside of you. It's always going to be a door if you want it. Okay? So the higher self, the you, this is the dimensional you, is in communication with you here in form. This is the you in form. You're so pretty. We see what you see. We see you. I got makeup on my shirt. I'm working on stuff, okay? I heard one person say, and I really like this. So let's say that God is just two descriptions of the Creator, light and love. I'm talking about nature here. Fire and nura, okay? The word new raw light, that is, raw is just raw light, but new raw is like it's growing, it's expanding light, okay? So we're talking about nature. We're already in full union. There's part of you that's already in full union, but what I heard recently is you could look at it almost like a percentage of you is incarnated here. We're looking at a percentage. Now, I know our minds go heaven here, but I'm still talking about everything that's within you. Okay? So when you are reminded, when you've become more of who you are, when you remember more of who you are, they called it a light quotient. Like your light quotient literally increases. And it really does literally increase. When you increase in your identity, you're increasing in you. The truth of you, your higher self, the light being, the spirit you is here to fully manifest as you in form. The more we allow it, the more we yield to it, the more we expand in light and love, there's things that just don't stick. We know that God, the creator of all, is never sick, never confused. We know it's one voice, it's one stream, it's one flow. And so are you. All these other different things that we're experiencing are coming from our own belief system, and that's okay. We came here to experience dimensions. You wanted to have a baby, right? How's it going? When are you due? Next week. She chose that experience before she came. She's experiencing that experience. She's already eternal. This baby inside of her is already eternal. Do you have a name? Avea is already eternal. There was agreements made before form came. So it's okay. We've all have different things that we came to experience. Okay? What I want to do, what we're here to do is help you connect to your higher self, to the spirit you, the fullness of who you are. And as you want to, as you're willing to, in the timing that you decide, you get to communicate and expand. See, energy, so the word spirit was later, spiritus, it was Latin, when they tried to describe as far as scriptural, but understand the Bible's very young. There were things happening way, way before the last 6,000 years. Okay, read the Hermetica. There's a lot of the Hermetica in the Old Testament because a lot of it was fragmented and put together. Okay? I had somebody from New Zealand, I forgot your name, I love you, that just sent me the oldest writings that you could find. The books I'm reading now, when I open them up, they say 15 million years ago, 40 billion years ago. These are the kind of stuff that people are sending me, that people are becoming aware of. It's not against what we've read in the last 6,000 years, but it's part of it. And you just sit there and go, do I want the red pill? I'm choking. And if you can see, I was able, y'all, when I opened scripture, because I wasn't raised with it, when I opened it, I had a Bible on the counter, which just was too holy to read, until I became like 23, and I dove into it, and I loved it. I felt and experienced the breath of God until I didn't. Honestly, until other people started teaching me. Because my intention was that. When you're what are you experiencing? Your own belief system. So if you go in and you believe that you're coming from the ego and you believe that women should be subservient, you're going to find scriptures in there that'll show you that it's true. I've had people quote scriptures to me on how slavery should still be today because it's in the Word. It's in there. You see what I'm saying? So I do understand when people come out of something, they throw the whole thing away. That's not what we're about. We're about looking in between. We're about the intention of your heart is what's leading you. You'll begin to see it. The breath of God will be everywhere, everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're going through hell, the breath of God, you'll begin to see the love of God. The light of God is there. Everywhere. Okay? So it's not one or the other. Listen, the nature of fear will always cause you to separate. It doesn't matter if we believe the same. None of that matters. None of us believe the same. None of us. I don't believe I'm having a baby in a week. And guess what? I'm not going to experience it. Right? So the fact that what we were trained in Christianity is if you don't believe it in that person to separate, that is the energy of fear. That's right. That's the energy of fear. We're family. We're full of light. We're full of love wherever you go. In a small town, y'all, if you went to another church, it was like you were cheating on somebody. Did you see that person? Because it was always just separation. Am I right? Yeah. Right? Okay. So the communication that the reason we're doing activations is so you can begin to tap into the spirit you, the one that's already in union with God. So let me say this, and then we'll split up. I know I'm reminding you guys of some things, okay? When I was talking to my brother on the phone, and I didn't know it was code blue, and Spirit said, call him. And his baby needed a kidney transplant, and he was born with complete kidney failure. Now we're like 8 months into it. They've been doing dialysis. They're waiting till he gets old enough to get my brother's kidney, okay? And my brother's difficult. Like I'm going to keep that on there too. I'm just kidding. He's my oldest brother. He's 10 years older than me, and he's going to cuss at me, right? And I hear Spirit say, call him. I don't know that what's happening is the dye that they're giving him is leaking all through his body, and this baby's being poisoned, right? And so I'm like, here, Spirit. I go into intercession. I'm rolling around the bed, probably for myself because I was scared, And then I call him, and he starts yelling above me. And I said, Carol, you do already believe. I'm not talking, he's a medical mind. I'm saying, I'm not talking to your medical mind. Like he had so much, the church, we've taught people that you need to have more faith. And it tore us up when people died in front of us because we blamed ourselves. Because we're experiencing our belief system. Yep. Not because it's true, we're experiencing it because it's our belief system, and we married it. You don't have to marry it. Yep. You don't have to marry what Mama said. I don't care if it worked for Mama. You don't have to marry it. You get to break that contract. You get to that's what's happening, just breaking these contracts with your belief systems. So I start yelling above him as he's cussing, and I'm like, you already believe, you're already in full faith, you're already in full trust. Just say this after me. Like basically, I didn't have this verbiage then, but from your higher self, from your spirit man. So I just led him, and he repeated after me, and we went there. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what your mind's saying if you can dismiss your mind. That's why we're talking about neutrality over and over and over. Your mind is what's attached, and it's attached to your body. So we've been told for generations when we have to age, and so that's when we age. Like it goes deep, you guys. We've been told when you're supposed to, all of these things. It's collective consciousness, and you can pull yourself out of all of it and have your experience. You get to have the experience that you want here, but you've got to come out of agreement with the contracts that you've made in your belief systems. And see, love is such a key in it because it's this place of I trust you, I trust you, I trust the process. And I remember Darren saying this when he would say, I think you're going to divorce me over this one, because he'd get another revelation. But I remember him saying, if this isn't the same voice, then I never heard the voice before. So that's what you have to decide. Is this the same voice leading me in my life? It doesn't have to be confirmed by anybody. It's a voice in you. You are so individual and separate, and you're an expression. So, the reason we want to go into some activations, the reason we talk about meditations, the reason Elba's here to help us in this connection is there's a whole part of you that we're here to discover, if you want to. And it's the part that's already knows. It's the part that's already fully in light. The more that you know the truth of who you are in that place of union, the more that you're able to manifest it in your life in this form. And there's nuts and bolts to it, which are so amazing. Did that make sense to you guys? So let's take just a few minutes. And I heard a statement last night. We were watching this guy last night. It was really good. But he said, we are in this dimension. Picture yourself as a higher being coming, the eternal part of God, that you came to this earth, this baby, to experience. He said, we came here to experience what we are not. And it's defining who we are. So I want you guys to just take a minute, and I want you to, if you have something to share something that you thought you were that you realize that you are not. And possibly, you don't have to be in the same person, but share who you know that you are, that maybe you haven't even walked into it now, but you can already see that. Maybe you have fully walked into it. All right, go. Maybe shelf it, and then if that's something that you need to say at the end, someone remind them. We always have a group, they're like, what was the assignment? I'm just kidding. The dimensional you. In the end, you're going to find out that the journey was the beginning of you. It's the origin, it's the source, it's God, it's the creator of all things. It's the ocean, and you're the wave. It seems like, oh my gosh, what did we go through all this? Well, it's in the discovery. You guys remember in the shack when they're sitting at the dinner table, and Papa, I don't know if you guys remember watching that movie. She said, I want to hear about your children. She's asking about his kids, and he said, don't you know everything? And Papa says, yeah, but I want to hear it through your experience. You know, and Jared said this to me about a year ago, that what if God, consciousness, what if God, the creator, this is all just experiencing life through us, as us, with us. And that's how we're maturing. And it's dimensional. I don't know. I like that. So we're talking about evolution. We're talking about the discovery of you, and that's what we're going to really hit this next year. I mean, we're going to talk about the energy centers and how to activate these. We're going to talk about your cellular memory. We're going to talk very scientific in a spiritual way, like how to plug into your DNA. I know some of you guys have been on this journey. Some of you guys haven't had time. Some of you, whatever, that's fine. But in the last few years, if you would be on it, we'd be listening to something that's feeding you, and they mentioned something. I mean, I had somebody from the Eye of the Storm that said, that book you mentioned, I already got it. As soon as I mentioned it, she got the book. And I'm like, ooh, I better watch myself, you know. And so many things. I've told you I probably got 50 books in the last probably that first year. And some of them I didn't know what I got. I couldn't assimilate it. I couldn't understand it, so I set it aside, but I knew the person that was speaking that mentioned it had life. So Breckenridge that's his name, Breckenridge, had his Akashic Records read, and what that is in a simple definition is, literally in your DNA, you carry the record of who you are. You carry eternity. Not just the record of who you are, but in a literal way, in your DNA, in your physical being is the record of God, the record of creation, like it's in you. So when Yeshua was saying the kingdom, the Malkuta of God is within you, it's very literal. The door was always within you. The demise, if you will, is for you to go through a door on the outside of you. The historic man. When the historic man, Yeshua, came to teach that it's in one space and it's not here or there, I got to go or you guys are going to make me the door. Literally. The door is within you. And it's very literal. So as we're going into and learning about our own DNA and the reactivations, when we say the word activate, we're allowing the activation and the truth of who you are and the memory of who you are. There's knowledge coming so fast that your mind can't contain it because your mind has been attached to one reality, right? And so your mind wants to shred it, or that's the fight or flight. But we're people that have learned to live neutral in the middle of our nervous system freaking out. I'm telling you, just in the last 2 weeks, have any of you guys had a tough time? I mean, my nervous system has been freaking out. And I was with somebody that was very, very ill or hurting. And then, Alex kept threatening that she's going to have that baby. Breck's like, it's coming tonight. I'm like, and I never said anything. I'm like, I just want to be there, but I didn't want her to hold it in for me, but could you? You know, and literally I come home and the next day she has Apollo, right? And so in it, you're just like this, you know, but life, it's going to get faster and we're going to learn more and more how to be neutral and how to rest in the God source, in you. Rest, peace. You're watching this play and you're an actor in it and you're a script writer and you're part of all of it. I mean, from this space, from Union, you made decisions and you wrote the script. You made decisions of things that you were going to overcome and grow in light and love in. I saw it. I was in that space. I saw it. We were in a cave. There was like 7 or 8 of us. We were light beings, and I heard the conversations of how we were going to find each other. I know who the essence of these people were, how we were going to find each other when we incarnated. And then I heard people saying, I'm going to do like they were writing their script. And we're like, what? You're going to go through that? Oh, like it was kind of fun, but it was like, that's going to be a hard one. And then we're like, you can do it. You can grow beyond every experience. You can grow in the nature of you, who you are, light and love beyond every experience that you experience in this world. And then you enter this world that's a world of forgetfulness, that all we think there is form and all we know is constructs, okay? And then you meet all these great people that came through history that started telling you it's about your spirit, it's about going within, you don't see who you truly are. You were never meant to be ruled over. I created you with free will to be a sovereign being, to express the nature of God, which is light and love. You can trust it. But some of us we wanted, I say us as in mankind, not just here. We wanted to be ruled over because I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible. But what I heard on the phone when he's yelling at me is if I don't have enough faith, like he didn't even know how to move into it, because if his son died, it would be on him. Yeah. And in that belief system, that's how we framed it, isn't it? We've blamed ourselves for everything, but in it, it's the release of all of it, releasing all the reality in order to see. Yeah. So the more we begin to see the memory that's going to come be awakened to you is from beyond the mind. You will begin to experience it in the mind. But those of us, I say us, that don't value and want to just be led by that. No, I got it. Those of us that are willing to just yield and say, I know nothing, to start over every day, you guys are just going to start going like this forward. That's right. And that's exciting to me. So this is what one teaching. And as we go into this, I'm going to get a thing printed up of the chart of consciousness within your own body, how to move in. It's just your growth. It's not anybody else's standard, okay? So one person that I heard teach this, and I thought it was really good, I actually read it, this is what evolution could look like, okay? So I'm talking about you. Evolution meaning you growing into the fullness of who you already are in heavenly places, if you will. You want to use scripture? You are seated in heavenly places. You came here to fully incarnate. Jesus, Yeshua, operated in the fullness of God. There's some scriptural for you, okay? So if you want to do it in a scientific way, I only see barely a percentage of who you are. You are so indescribable. I mean, there's not words for it. You are energy. You are spirit. I can see one form, but when I begin to experience the truth of you, it's eternal. It's God. It's light. It's love. Okay? So don't ever get caught up with that. So acclimate. So in the evolution of growing, when you acclimate, now think of when you go outside and it's freezing, or how many of you do ice baths? Or you go into the sun, okay? You first acclimate, you bring that in. You have to allow this time. This is when I'll get a revelation. The word light means revelation, knowledge, wisdom. The light goes on, ding. You see something about yourself. You realize you're not bad. You realize you are whatever. Something just resonates. That's what the word light means. Enlightenment will be another term people use. So let's say you go into the sun, but there's more light, you begin to acclimate to that. So I'll get a revelation, and it'll start rolling around. It'll start rolling around. I'll say it. I'm not in it yet. I know I'm not in it yet. It just hit my mind. It hit my spirit. But you know, when you hear a question like, is that all there is? You hear that in your spirit. You know that you don't have the answer. You're like, I don't think so, or I wouldn't get that question. You know what I mean? Like, there must be more. And so that light begins, so you begin to acclimate that in your life, whatever that is. This is you may not be hearing anything the person next to you is hearing. Usually you're not. At the end of it, you know, when we would have big meetings, someone would come up and say, man, I loved it. And they would give me revelation. I'm like, I didn't say any of that. That came straight from you. Good on you. As an Aussie would say, good on you. You could be hearing your own. I'm here to activate and let you hear the truth of who you are. It's not about my annoying voice, right? So you get a revelation, an enlightenment, an understanding, and you begin to acclimate it into your body, literally. Yep. So I'm already healed. I'm already whole. I told you I've done this. I am the essence of God in form. I am love. I was in anxiety to go to a place. I was going to go where there was conflict. There was, history. And I started going, I am love. So I acclimate that. It's true. Is it true? But was it true to me yet? No. So I start acclimating. I'm going to evolve in this. I'm going to evolve in this revelation. I start acclimating in the fact that I am love. Okay? The next step, they said, would be assimilate. I start integrating that into my life. I begin to go, I am love. I am love. I start integrating it. I started expressing it. It starts becoming part of who I am. It begins to be the light expands, if you will. The knowing of it expands, whatever it is, whatever you're seeing and hearing. Okay? And then they said the next thing is tapping, which I was a little confused with that one, but let me read you what they said with tapping. Tapping into the next, the dimensions are within you. The experience that you're going to experience are within your own being. You are an interdimensional person. You've experienced yourself in one or two dimensions. When you're in a dream state, when you get a vision, when you're in a meditated state, you may be in another dimension, okay? But you are multidimensional. You were told that you weren't so that the constructs could stay in place and you would serve the constructs, the governments of man. Whatever they are, okay? But now the earth is getting to, the reason all this stuff is happening is there's growing pains, if you will. You want scripture for the sons of God to be revealed? The earth there's a pressure. The pressure was meant to be here while we're here. Because there's something coming out of you. That picture I just showed you, right? There's a birthing, there's a newness coming out of you. It's not coming from the sky. It's coming from the unseen part of you. So the tapping, what she said, into the next dimensional field is an essential step in evolution, your evolution. As the physical form holds more light, more revelation, more understanding, the human aspect and the earth can feel the experience. And as soon as you begin to bring that in, you've acclimated it, you're bringing it in, it's expanding. You begin to almost baptize yourself into that revelation, if you will. You're bringing your whole being into it. You're not just experiencing it in the higher place, the dream state. It wasn't just a revelation that you wrote notes on and you're looking back to. You're bringing it into your life, and then you're bringing your whole body into it. I picture tapping like a reaching. Do you want to expand? This part is you, the form, Sheila, has to work. This 0.0001%, or maybe my light has got increased, okay? It has to work with your higher self. It's a working together. It doesn't just happen. I know we said it happens with the laying on the hands, but it doesn't. It's offered. When you get a revelation, it's offered. You can tell me your revelation, you can write a book about it, and you could never walk through into that revelation. You could never embody it, if you will. Haven't you guys ever heard somebody speak? I have. It'd make me so mad. I would say something, and people would grab it, and they're moving into it, and I wasn't in it. I'll give you an example. Humble myself. I heard Spirit say, about my daughters to show them how to live from the heart. When you hear that, do you say, oh, no, I already do live from the heart? Surely they've seen it. I raised them. I could do that. Or I realize there's a part that I hadn't lived from the heart. And there was conflict, of course, for me to move on into another relationship. Just conflict in the heart. And with it, there's all kinds of fear on what people would think. I've lived my whole life. One of the first messages I heard, I was 23 when we went to a pastor's conference, was how to live life in a glass house. So people are watching. So you sit up straight, and I didn't sit up that straight. I was kind of a brat. But you do things right because you're being watched. And some of that's good. It's for the responsibility, you know. You take in mind others on every decision that you make. But with it, there was a level that I was governing myself out of fear because I didn't want to hurt people. Because it's a huge responsibility, and I see leaders all the time use people for their own gain, and it breaks my heart. They build it for their own gain, whether the leader is a parent, you know, a government leader, a church leader, whatever. But in it, I got involved with the government of Sheila, and I start driving this car, and I'm really, really careful. And in it, I disregard that I can trust my heart. My heart is where I'm already in union. The core of who you are would be with what your heart is, okay? My heart is where I'm already in union. In other words, when you're living from the heart, you don't have to watch what you say. Have you guys ever been in conversations where you have to dot your I's and cross your T's? And then you walked away and they still didn't hear you? You tried to get it all right and because they couldn't read your intention. Okay? So when you're sitting with that person, it's very easy to be full of fear when you're trying to explain your heart. How many of you guys have tried to explain your heart? How far does that go? And then you're around people that just see your heart, and you could say something crazy, and they know, she's just having a bad day, or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, y'all, when I first started this, I had people upset not upset, but it hit them wrong if I was quoting scripture, and people that it was hitting them wrong if I wasn't. I have not known how to navigate this. I can tell you right now, scripture's part of it, and it's part of your belief system, and so that's the angle I want to go. But I'm not going to put you in that box because you realize it's just 6,000 years old. I mean, come on. But we're not throwing anything away either. It's for us to understand where life is. But if you were once boxed up in it, it hits a trigger, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And most people say, this is truth. You come into this truth, I'm going to wrap it up pretty, or you're not in truth. That's right. And that's bull. Every religion contains divine reality, which is what the word truth means. The religions are the form. People are in religions. Spirituality, energy, the essence of who God is beyond every religion. It's beyond every book. It's beyond every thought. It's beyond every mindset. So when I order these books that I could feel life happening and expansion, and I order these books and I open it up and I realize that it's from an extraterrestrial, and I'm like, oh God, I didn't know. Fear kicks in, and then I go back and go, wait a minute, I believe all this about what's being said. And so you're navigating through, and then whenever you read something that, I don't care if the words are just correct, it's the politician that's trying to attach you to their self to get the vote. You have to know intention. You have to learn how to read energy, your own and others. Because there's a language of the spirit, and it's a spirit language. It's not any language of this earth. And you can feel it when somebody walks in the room if they are full of light and love once you begin to read that. So I start governing myself, and I got to make sure I do this right. I don't want to hurt people, and I've lived most of my life like that. And then I hear Spirit say, show them how to live from the heart. And I'm ready to jump, so I'm like, okay, hold my beer. I'm going to do this. And that's when I brought him fully in my life. Because I had to and I'm going for long drives, and I know all the scriptures, and I know all the things, but I'm not willing to get in the contracts of man yet. I knew in my heart, I was fully married to him in my heart from the time I heard God. That was it. I'm not against anything. I'm not for anything, but I'm learning what the contracts in this government, what they mean, and I wasn't willing to touch that part of it yet, the paper contract. Okay? I'm not for another way of living. I'm not into another way of living. It's from the heart. And my covenants, that I'm undoing the covenants that have been made, the contracts that have been made in this dimension, and I'm learning to walk in the covenant of the heart fully. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? I had a lady teach my kids about covenant breaking and like bring them through inner healing until she didn't believe with our belief system, and then she took 30 people and left the church. And I mean, Darren was a covenant man. Like, it comes from the heart. If you walk away, you have to walk away from me. I'm committed to you for life. I don't care what your lifestyle is. I love that your lifestyle triggers me because I need to be triggered to show me where I'm in fear and not the energy of love. Thank you for triggering me. Mainly you, Paul. Right? Because I want to expand in only love. What connects us is this wave of love. So that's when I heard Spirit say, show them how to live from the heart, that's what it is. And it's like trusting. And I mean, you have to deal with your mind on the way it's supposed to be done, on how you're supposed to do it, because I've been attached to all these systems. I'm not even calling any system bad. I'm just telling you there's a deeper reality within your own being that we're moving into, and we are moving into it. How far do you want to go? It's only good, it's only light. There's no pushing against anything. Listen, there's no pushing against anything. There's nothing to push against. When you dive into the pool, you only push against the wall once. If you continually push against the wall, it's because you're right next to it. It's time to swim. 2023, it's time to swim. Why am I saying that? Those are very powerful words. Remember them, because as things start coming down, it's going to try to force you to make a decision. Run to the temple. The temple is holy. The temple served us. Run to the temple. They're threatening the temple. Run to the temple. Your loved ones are in the temple. Go with your loved ones. Don't deny the temple. And they were all slaughtered and went down with the temple. Except for the few that were hidden in what was the city they were hidden in? What is it? Pella? It was the city. So all the Jewish believing people that accepted the message of the kingdom went to a city. They were told to go. Remember the whole scripture, you guys, where they sold all their land and put the money at the apostles' feet? Mm-hmm. I literally had apostles tell us this. Yeah. Literally, didn't they? It was all about the apostle. Oh, now we know where the government goes. Let's rebuild the government. And the government goes, whatever. But the reason they did that is because the land was getting ready to be wiped out and not worth anything. And so they sold the ones that were hearing spirit, they sold everything. They put the money at the apostles' feet. It was divided up. They escaped to a city following that one voice, and the temple came down, and I forget how many people, maybe thousands of people went down with the temple. I'm talking about going down with constructs or evolving. Was the temple bad? No. The temple wasn't bad. But spirit moves. And we hold on to belief systems that served us at one point that don't serve us any longer. That's right. It served me to watch my mouth and to sit up straight and to play the part, okay? I was too immature to trust my heart at that point, or I would have taken a lot of people with me. But after you grow out of that, you move with spirit over it.
Yeah, I've been going over this quite a bit, actually. The acclimate, assimilate, tapping, and anchoring, because I realized that I have anchored myself in so many belief systems, and God was that whole deconstructing part of us. And that's what she's talking about, the belief systems that we've bought into, that we've anchored into, that we say this is it and this is the only way that it is, and you have to make a choice. That's what we're getting rid of. Yeah. And so even in this process of assimilating and bringing things in and holding, and you got to still be neutral. Yeah. You got to still keep it loose. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he keeps teaching and he keeps showing as long as you're open to it. If you get stuck in this, I heard a minister say one time, it was actually Dutch. He said, if we're not careful, we'll be wise old wineskin. And what are you going to do with that? Absolutely nothing. It's the frog. You know how you turn the water up? Sheila was talking about being outside and you get cold and you acclimate to that. It's the frog that's in the pot that they can boil because they turn it up slowly. You guys, religion, I just got to say it. It has turned up this pot slowly on us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are dead frogs and don't even realize it. And don't have the power to move, to be, because the fire has been turned up and we bought it. And we anchored ourselves in it. And I'm saying what God is showing me is the things that I have anchored in that anchor needs to be pulled up. And so that's the other side of it. You can anchor in good,
both
but
sides,
you also, there's the other side of it that you have anchored in and that you bought all your life.
Yep.
That's why you have to stay neutral.
Yep. If you want to grow.
I'm telling you, your mind will shred it if it doesn't have, it will. Your mind will shred it. If you don't create a grid, and the grid is neutrality. Yep. But if you don't create that grid, your mind will shred it. Because some of those things that we've heard all of our life, they're triggers.
Yep.
And you say one word, and you're triggered, and you shred it. Because you're anchored in the old. And I'm just saying, stay neutral. And that's what I'm learning. I mean, I'm seeing so many different things that I've anchored in. And he's like, where's your neutrality? Stay neutral, and you'll acclimate to what I have for you. So I'm just saying that to you guys, that's been my process over the past, 3 weeks or what have you, that I've been reading this book. That's been my process, because I keep seeing where I've anchored.
Yep. And that's the pain.
And that is the pain.
You picture an anchor, or like I picture a tether in the ground, you know, those things that you screw into the ground for a dog or whatever. That's the pain, because we settled it. We brought it into our being and we settled it. The empowerment part is you did that. Yeah. Even if you were taught all your life that men were a certain way, women are a certain way, whatever your mentality was, a different race was this from your parents, okay? Now, as a sovereign being, you can go, oh, I believe that because I still brought it in. Even if you were asleep and you were a child. The empowerment is that you brought it in. That means guess who can release it?
You can.
Yeah. No one has to come and get that frog out of the water. Has anyone ever eaten frogs?
Yeah, fried.
Yeah, I see you.
It's good. It's really good. It tastes like chicken.
Is that what you want?
But even tasting like chicken is familiar.
Yeah.
And we say that, I mean, there's things that are so familiar that we hold on to because it's so familiar.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, let it go.
Well, I had somebody, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like right after during transition. People were in our house and just talking and laughing. And I spent most of the time in my room. Even when they would have fires out, the guys would all be in, Nathan, Jared, these guys. Anyway, I get up and there's a few guys, none of those guys, having a conversation like 2 a.m. I'm just getting up to get some water. And one person looks at me, it was Daryl, who we all love, and he said, you know, I just love, it's before he moved here, he said, I love it here because it just feels like home. And the other guy, who's very funny, says, shut the blank up, and starts doing a drama of what his home life was. Leaving the point that a lot of times if someone says your house feels like home, that may not be a good thing. But the point being, how many of us, we got to a certain age and we went, oh my gosh, that was familiar to me. Yeah. That's all I knew. I actually took comfort in the abuse because it felt like home. Yeah. Does that make sense? I wrote this down. I've been writing myself a lot of notes to give you an example of how it can go both ways. And we have older people in here. So let's take sex. Got it? Okay? When you first know about that. You're a child, you're naive, there's innocence. Maybe you shouldn't know about it yet and something happened. You saw something, okay? It can go either way. But it can begin to be part of your life, and then you can move into it where you become a sexual being. It can be a negative thing because of the abuse, because of what you've pulled into your life, and it can bring you down, 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 down in your evolution, in your growth, darkening your mind. It can be done, it could be a healthy thing in the right timing and mutual love and respect and honor, right? And you can assimilate that and it bring life. And then you can move into it until, this is just something that we were part of our maturity, but you understand how it can go both either way. And so that's why we go revisit how we've seen parts of us that we thought were right. This is how it's supposed to be, but they were distorted. Yeah. Because what we began to bring in, we weren't mature enough for it. And darkness began to set in. And then we're anchored in a darkened mind, and we don't know where it came from. We're shamed because we're told that it was us. We're shamed every Sunday at the altar. We're quoted scriptures on how you're not supposed to be that. But it never was that anyway. It never was you, the essence of who you are anyway. So that's the letting go. I know you guys are hot. I have no idea. What time is it? So, you guys, the things, it's just coming so fast. There's just so much information coming so fast. I don't know it's right. All of a sudden I know this is right. I don't know where to start. I know I have to expand in my memory in order to contain it, in order to acclimate it and bring it into my being, you know. One thing I heard is when you just have knowledge, which is light, you're bringing in all this information. Some of you are researching, without the nature of love, okay? You're just going to get a fat head. You're not going to fully be able to acclimate it, assimilate it. You'll never be anchored in it, in your nature. So I'm saying that because right now you can get on YouTube and hear anything. I mean, there's stuff coming about the other realms and how to travel in other realms and what's going on in the dimensions and who you are, and it's out there and it's out there and it's out there. But in my life, the way I marry it is I'm married in love. Is this what, when I heard Spirit say, show them how to live from the heart, the first thing I look at is when I'm living from the heart, is it bringing healing and wholeness, this revelation? Do you see what I'm saying? Or is it hurting? Which some people, right away, it's going to hurt them in their mind. So, anybody have any questions on that? This is just something for you to chew on. Maybe let's take just a few minutes and tell somebody something that I have said today. It may not be something that came out of my mouth. It may be something that it reminded you or it came from here that is like a light came on that you can know that you can begin to acclimate and bring into your life. Let's do that for a few minutes. All right. I think so. If we can pause just for a minute. Did you guys have something to say? Whatever, come on. Well, let me say this about in tapping, okay? So I see there's more light, literally more light. Listen, the more revelation, you get an understanding, more love, more God, more of the truth of who you are, more union, whatever. I am wholeness. In a very literal way, not super spiritual, literal. Your light begins to expand in your cells that pushes sickness out. If we're talking about frequency, there's a level that you can vibrate, a level that you can live where sickness can't stick. We haven't had words for it. Now we're attempting with our words. It's same with healing.
When you're carrying that unconditional love to such a point, that's what you bring to someone.
Yeah, that's what you bring. In fact, John Osteen, not Joel, John Osteen had a little teeny book, and it was on love. It was a little pamphlet or a book that you could hand out. But he talked about when you feel it, he explained it as love, then you extend it, that's when miracles happen. Yeah. That was our language. But it's a very literal feeling. It's a revelation that he had, that he's teaching people, that you begin to acclimate, assimilate into your being. You're tapping. One thing about tapping, let me tell you this, okay? So tapping is, if you're looking at the dimensions within you, we say, oh, we hear of somebody that's experiencing angels or experiencing the 111th dimension, whatever. I went to the 7th heaven or whatever, okay? And we say, oh, I want that, okay? You're not going to just get that without this. So I'll give you an example. I have somebody that lost a loved one, and they're really mad at that loved one that passed because they haven't shown up to them. And I'm trying to explain to them, because of where they're operating in the density of grief and anger, that person in another dimension would have to slow down their frequency in order to manifest. These are channels, these waves. Scientists will now tell you that, they're still dumb, we're discovering. We don't know. We're just trying to, we think we know. So if we lost all the dead space inside our atoms, we would each be able to fit in the particle of dust. Dust. If everything was vacuumed out of your atoms that is unseen energy, you would be a particle of dust. Okay? If all humanity, if the empty space, what they thought was empty, was vacuumed out, all humanity, as far as what matter looks like, would be the size of a sugar cube. Y'all think of it. We're unseen. This isn't that ooh spirit. Religion and religious leaders historically tried to keep the spirit realm away from you, mankind, so that you wouldn't tap into your own strength. The kingdom within, the Malkuta, the empowerment of God within you had to be removed and taught that it was somewhere else in order for someone else to control it. Yeah. So then you come to the altar and they decide if you're forgiven or if you're not forgiven. They decide if you're a sinner or if you're not a sinner. You're either in or you're out. When that was never the message of Yeshua, he said it's within you. Okay? And he got killed for it. Down for myself. Empty space from observation of the human eye and magnifying tools. They've discovered that there really isn't any such thing as empty space. Anything, everywhere we go, anything that you think is empty, there's no such thing, that it's waves. So if a loved one transitioned and they're in another wave, and you're in this dense reality, we call it a realm, but it's a wave, they could, and a lot of times people have visitations from their loved ones right after they pass. A lot. There's books and books and books about it and how they show up, and they'll show up through technology, and Darren sent me a song. It's an awesome story. Sent me a song. It showed up on the website, but it's not really on the website. It's incredible. There's a whole story to it. Technology is a wave. There's a lot of communication dimensionally through waves because of where we've gotten in our technology. You can now, they say, take pictures of spirits I told the guy, we were getting an Uber, and the guy had what are the kind of cars that cook you? Tesla. Yeah, they cook you. Yeah, they're not good for you. But anyway, they tell you they're so good for you, but they're not. But anyway, so I heard that the camera on there, you can go to graveyards and stuff, and you can, with the technology of their camera. So I tell this Uber driver, I get in this Uber, it's late at night. I go, hey, you have a Tesla. I heard that you can use and Breck's like, I heard that these cameras can pick up spirit, that technology is caught up in this wave. And he goes, really? My wife is so into that, I'm going to a graveyard. I'm like, who would have thought? But they're literal waves, okay? So that person I'm talking to that's in a dense energy and all they can see is this, and that we're demanding, God, can't you come? God, why don't you speak? But they don't understand it. They're only going to experience their belief system. Until when you allow your belief system to lift or let it go or neutrality, you begin to experience the dimensions within your own being. Yeah. And you can trust. Not me. Yeah, you can probably, but you trust the God within you. Yeah. And there'll be a part of you that fears it, and then there'll be a deeper part of you that trusts. And that's the fun of it. It's all going on at the same time. Those are just emotions. They create things. They've created our world very often. If you are brokenhearted for 30 years because someone passed, it's because you're experiencing your belief system. It's literally on another wave. You can let that go, and you can begin to experience unconditional love because it's who you are. Yeah. But we were taught that we had to go through this, okay? So what I was trying to explain to this person, I didn't use the term, but the tapping is like I'm holding onto a rope and it pulls me into that. I move fully into that space, baptize, if you will. I immerse my whole being into that experience, into that revelation, into that understanding. It's a position. And here's the thing, guys. It's okay if you're just here to experience life. You don't have to grow. If you're just really tired after this conversation, it's okay. Like, oh, dear God, I've tapped enough. I'm tapped out. right? It's okay. Because here's the deal. The being of who you are, this is what's going to happen anyway. You get to, what Monica's shirt, evolve or repeat. It's not punishment that you're repeating. I repeated the 3rd grade 7 times. Not really, but if I did, it's okay. I've been a slow learner with things, okay? It can be in 1 lifetime. It can be in 20 lifetimes. Whatever you're here, you're going to evolve. You're going to grow. With me, I'm so in your face, is what do we get to do right now in time and space? What's available? That's all I want to know. What's available? You know, I asked Teresa, I said, what do you want? She said, I want it all. I'm like, you got to define what that means. You want it all in this dimension, like, because here's the deal. Every experience, every revelation, every time the light turns on, every dream, every word you've gotten, you don't have to leave it. It can become a door that you begin to acclimate it into your life and become that. You're watching a movie. You're watching Narnia. You start getting revelation, okay? You can leave it with the movie after you can tell somebody at the coffee shop. That's one level. You can begin to acclimate it and bring it into your life and assimilate it and become that revelation. Because if you're feeling it, it's already there. It's bubbling up. It's that well that's bubbling up. Come on over.
I just wanted to share the importance of what everybody's talking about on the staying neutral. And I had an aha moment with actually Elba yesterday. We had a friend of ours that had come over to work with us on really going deep on the energy and clearing out stuff that we thought we've already cleared out, but we didn't know for sure. And so when we were getting in a couple of years back, in fact, I was at a conference with Monica, Julio, and Eva, where I had never spoke in tongues, okay? And that particular night, at the end of the night, and I had been helping everybody falling on their backs, catching them so they wouldn't fall. You know, I said to myself, you know, God, this is really neat. I really enjoy this. And I lowered the thought of speaking in tongues. It completely just evaporated.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is that night I did it. And I went over to Monica and I said, Monica, something's happening. And she said, well, come on. So it happened. But the reason I said that is because it opened a door in me.
Yeah.
I believe at that time I was maybe 65 or 64. And this experience had never come before. I'd had the opportunities, but it didn't happen. Well, when I was with Elba yesterday, we were going in deep, but I had a problem with my shoulders relaxing. It's like it's in the automatic, however you say it, nervous system. I had the intent to stay on track, which means not going to release. And, you know, we kept talking about it. She said, you need to release. And I said, oh, come on. I need to, I'm just going to quit thinking. All of a sudden, when I quit thinking, it started coming out. I was speaking in tongues, okay? But I recognized part of the language I'd used before. And that's the only reason I knew it. Other than that, I was like, and, you know, expressing these other things that were deep. But after I'd said that, I noticed my shoulders relaxed. And it relaxed without me having to still say, relax, relax. Because two of the things I was trying to achieve was love and sovereignty. That was the key that we were going after deep to release any energies that would keep that from moving up to that higher level. So what I want to relay to y'all, that if you will also apply that to your age and not start thinking, okay, I'm this age, this is going to start happening.
Yeah.
Or this is going to, whatever. If you will stay in that neutral spot, you will achieve, just like we have, the ability to do anything we think we really want to do that is an enjoyment and an enhancement to help other people. And even Elba told me, she says, you know, I'm beginning to think that really my role in life at this stage is to work with people and help them keep going.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm positive of that. There's no doubt in my mind. So what I'd like y'all to do is to understand that as you have those aha moments with people like in our group, share them, because you may be helping somebody that's thinking they're having to go through something when they really don't have to. And when I'm now connecting the fact that I could use the ability to speak in tongues in another energy work, which I never before that related, then it's like, my God, you know, I can actually tell somebody now that thought speaking in tongues was strictly a certain way it had to be done and everything else, that it's not the case. And I know that from personal experience. So with that being the case, I encourage all of you, get to that neutrality. It's going to take work on your opinions, on your judgments, on all this stuff. But when you finally get to that freedom of where you don't have to form an opinion or you don't have to speak a judgment, it then opens up everything to start opening up. Yeah. Even the thought about what might happen as you get older, or how other things you thought, oh, that was only from Christianity or that was from Buddhism or whatever. You start seeing the commonality of where it all comes together as one, and you learn the ability to relate it. And that's my biggest thing, that if someone would ask me before now, how do you relate speaking in tongues to energy work? I wasn't really sure what the answer was, but I know it now. Yeah. What was true for me. And whatever it might be true for you, just leave the door open, because if you really have love and sovereignty at your goal post, you're going to get there. Yeah. But you won't get there the same way I did or Sheila, but you're going to get there. And if it's really something that you know is helping you, just share it.
Yep. I love that. And y'all, the funny thing is just laughing at yourself, because we called it speaking in tongues. Alex informed me that now it's called your light language. So, light language. I'm just saying, if you're talking to somebody that wasn't around the Bible, you can go, I have a light language. And they're like, what? L-I-G.
I love this opportunity that Eddie opened, and that another one, and that Sheila's talking about, because maybe some of you see me like, you know, I've been in this work for 29 years, and it's true. So I know it all. Well, let me tell you that I don't, of course. And yesterday, and this girl, she was in our wedding. Oh. She was one of the two guests that I invited to my wedding. She's from Romania, and she's in Dr. Joe's work, but she's a seeker. And in December, she went for 1 month to Bali to get trained as a Kundalini body therapist. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, well, she has been talking to us about it, and we were very excited before she went, when she was there, and after she came back. And yesterday, first Eddie was the one who did the therapy, and well, he already said it. And when it came to me, if you would have heard my screamings, you would say, that's not Elba. I just released, but I was like, like an exorcism. And I did feel stuckness in my body, you know, like heaviness. And my intention was to be lighter and oh my God, and what an intention. I moved, I kicked, I screamed, I did whatever, because we accumulate stuff. Yep. And when I started doing it, which was like that, because we already had Eddie going, so I was in the energy, you know. So when I lay down, it's something like rebirthing, but different. But you know, the higher self comes in and does the work. The first thing that I heard of my higher self is, okay, we're back in business.
Welcome home.
And I was laughing because it said it in English, and normally it talks to me in Spanish.
It's bilingual.
Yeah, it's bilingual. So yes, it's that. And many of you that had done rebirthing with me, I have told you that if I had a rebirther nearby, I would go and do sessions with her or him, if it's a good one. And well, now I had this opportunity, and it was great because it never ends.
Yeah.
And we accumulate, and we try to clean as much as we can, but there's always stuff inside, and you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
But we have to be kind to ourselves.
Right. Well, if you think of energy moves, it spins, what matter is stuck energy. So if I bring in belief in system into me, and I anchor in it, it's literally stuck. There's no movement to it. I've anchored into it. And let me finish saying this because I didn't. The Akashic records is what they do is they literally read the records on the inside of your DNA. The light, there's the record of eternity, your story, your decisions before you came, who you are. In the Christian church or whatever, we would have said it's prophecy, words of knowledge, things like that. But energy can get stuck and keep you from the truth of who you are. So that's why we're going to really start bringing in, I said this at the beginning, but now we're really going to start bringing in where people can help us move some of this energy. And breath work is huge. The rebirthing is a lot of breath work. It's very literal, things that get stuck. That's why she had a response in this reality, because you don't even know it. It's like a thorn coming out of your heart. Traumas, things, beliefs, things like that. Some of it, Elba, and you can agree, I guess you can disagree if you want, but can be, when you begin this stuff, will be generational. And listen, this is what's so beautiful. You can cleanse your family tree. You can begin to cleanse those that even went before you and behind, because now you're aware, they weren't aware. And they operated in a level of darkness generation after generation, and all of a sudden you realize it. You've also inherited some of this, right? That stuck energy. You can begin to release it, and then from your higher self, that space where we're all one, you can go and begin to release it give the opportunity into the bloodline. That's what's been happening. So, you want to say something? All right. We're ending. This is it. I will say this. If you guys want to give, you can give in the buckets, or you can scan it, or that's the phone number. And I told the thing I'm doing, the Eye of the Storm, there's a registration with it. Number one, it's a commitment. But the thing that to understand is, I understand that your finances are life energy. You gave your life energy to accumulate that. And then when you attach it, there's a connection with it. So that's why I did that. If you want to register for that, all the recordings are right there. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate just your willingness just to join me in this. Because we're different. You guys understand that? When we said all-inclusive, the part of navigating is to make sure you don't anchor on one thing. And that if she decides to anchor on something, that we're still in the flow of family. We're not ostracizing anybody. All of us are in a different place in our growth. You could never get left behind. That's a lie. You can never get left behind. That was a lie. Those are books from the 80s. Okay, go ahead. Left Behind. I never read them. Did anybody read those books? Sorry about that. Did you read those books?
Girl, I read them, and I was all into it, and I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, so I'm just only here, just my intention is to share a couple of examples of what I see and just to reinforce what Monica and Sheila said today. So I was feeling like I should lead with this yesterday and got into a car situation where the back tire blew out, and I had a decision immediately to either lead with fear or to continue to move in peace. And so I operated immediately. I had to move into peace because I could have lost control of the car.
Yeah.
Everything started going like this, and it was just like a mad movie.
You're on the freeway?
And on the freeway with everyone there and all opportunity to flip over and all this stuff. But I stayed calm, moved in fear, controlled the car, moved it over. We got to safety. And all of these things were just playing out. And we were sitting there like, oh my God,
What just happened?
what just happened? What could have, should have, or whatever. But anyway, we were saying, okay, it's not, if you wanted to die or you were thinking about suicide or those just moments right there flash before you, I want to have life.
Yeah.
I want to continue to move into life, and I want to live it with the heart of love. And so I wanted to say also, I've been helping my husband walk through some things. And so I was assisting him even this morning, and when you go back to that book, we were talking about Joel, or the dad?
John Osteen.
John Osteen in Love. Your body pays attention to your cells, your thoughts, and you will hear yourself talking, and so you will activate, acclimate, regenerate, produce whatever thoughts you're saying to yourself, even though you're not moving with the sound waves
Right.
of your mouth.
Yeah, there's a command center.
Command center. And I was being reminded all of these downloads were happening, and all of these things and thoughts were coming to my head about what was happening. I got angry. It wasn't him, but the situation. And in that moment, I also thought, okay, he can feel this. So I had to sit there and make a choice again. Am I going to move into love? Or am I going to move into the anger or operate from that space? Because we also are going through a phase of rebirthing, repositioning, reacclimating, deciding, okay, we're here to help other people grow and heal. It's not about being selfish or anything like that. And so the act of being selfless, the act of loving, the act of activating your own selves and moving into love and light. And he was able to feel the frequency of what it was that I had to do because the atmosphere shifted. And so I had to move back into that. And so as we're going through this journey, because this is really what it is, we're coming to know who we are. And I looked all over this. My mouth just went there. Anyway, trying to be funny. But anyway, we are thankful for you. And just remember, I say all of that to say you have a choice every moment. And that's all.
I see that you pulling the car over, and both of those are the same thing. Can you guys see that? And she made a decision, and she began to write her own script. It could have gone either way right then, according to what she aligned herself with. Her nervous system, her mind, all of it, were that higher space. And then,
It was freaking out, like all the emotions and all
Sure.
the stuff. My body was feeling tense. And I want to thank you, Monica, for calling and checking on me yesterday. She was like, "Are you okay? Everything's fine?" I was like, "Yeah, we are now." Like, it took a minute. Your life flashes before your eyes. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, what have I been doing? What have I been living? Talk about a God moment.
But the same thing with this, what you're walking through with Dennis. If you start spiraling here, it'll be a car wreck.
Right.
You'll get the fruit of your belief system, and that's scary.
It is. So.
And it does make, and I do appreciate. I say scary. I have so appreciated the pressure of taking this role because that's what I used up front to move me. I couldn't just be in grief and have nothing. Like, all right, let's do it together, kind of thing. And so when somebody else is at hand, when you begin to see instead of asking, what's this going to cost me, ask yourself, what's it going to cost me if I don't move into it?
Yeah.
Because as you move into these layers of truth, you're opening doors for your family, you're opening doors for the people that you operate with.
And everyone's connected to us.
Everyone.
Everyone on so many levels. And I will say that we were going yesterday out of town. There's an EE system here in Houston, but I felt led, we felt drawn to go to this one out in Weatherford, Dallas. And come to find out, they have several people that they operate, that works there. And one particular lady that we met, she uses biogenetics with magnets. And she was reading, when we say reading, 'cause it's not a woo-woo word, but she was operating in the spirit, seeing, and God was showing her, Spirit was showing her what it was that was going on with Dennis and myself. And so we had some moments where she was talking about generational things, and this happened when you were 40, and this was happening when all of this was, so we were like, whoa. And so we had the opportunity to clear out some things, and I had a dream when she was working on me, and I'll share this, but she left to go use the restroom for a moment when I was there, and we were ending the session, and I felt like I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. She had magnets over different parts of my body, and, I'm learning about the chakras, okay? It's just different levels of things that are going on with your soul, your mind, and your spirit. And I was dealing with some inner healing and trauma and releasing, and I was like, when I got out and woke up, and I said, why did I feel like I wanted to scream? And just remembering my mom leaving us, but she didn't have a choice. She had to go deal with her stuff, or she had to go. And I said, "You're not my mom. Why did I want to scream when you left me?" But anyway, just processing, we were releasing, and I just thought I would say that because I had a moment where I wanted to scream and I couldn't. But anyway, just navigating this whole thing and allowing ourselves to build a grid in the space and learning about ways to clear energy and ways to clear and spiritually, supernaturally, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Use your language, but use your wisdom too, and know that all of this works together for our good,
Yeah.
if you will.
It's just been wrapped up as if it's unattainable, y'all, and it's not. It's not. When you're talking about magnets, what do magnets do? It's energy. Do you guys know, I talked to someone that you can run your whole house on magnets, energy. Do you know that why we have to pay the government for the energy we get? Because that's how the government works. Do you know why we had to pay the church for the energy that we thought we could get from them? Because that's how it works. And we hadn't known that it's all within us. When I say it's more scientific than we realize, all I'm saying is we are going to do activations here, whoever wants to be a part of these at the Happy House, are here, that help us understand that it's all available and it's not woo-woo like you said. Okay, it's not far out there. It's the same way with holistic medicine. When they came in and they paid the research a little bit, when they paid the colleges to teach what they were going to teach, they made the holistic medicine weird and out there and crazy, and then they set in place what was the medical world, okay, and the way to do things. And it's all built on money. I'm not saying we don't use any of it, but I am saying that we're getting back to a holistic point of view in everything, in the truth of who we are. So I love you. I bless you. Have a great day.